The message came through every communication channel in the galaxy at once. It was not a greeting. It was not a negotiation. It was a scream for survival. The Galactic Council chamber was filled with representatives from hundreds of alien species. They gathered for their monthly meeting. But today something was different. Today they received a distress signal that made everyone stop talking. The hologram activated in the center of the room. A Zelker ambassador appeared. His blue skin was covered in dust and blood. His eyes were filled with tears. Behind him, buildings were burning. Explosions could be heard in the background. "Please help us," the Zelker ambassador said. His voice was shaking. "The Kravix Empire attacked our planet 3 days ago. They destroyed our defense fleet in hours. Now they are bombing our cities. Millions of my people are dead. Millions more are hiding underground. We have no weapons left. We have no ships left. We need help now." The council members looked at each other. Everyone knew about the Kravix Empire. They were the most feared military force in the galaxy. They had conquered 40 planets in the last 10 years. No one had ever defeated them in battle. The Velner representative stood up. His species was known for their wisdom. "We cannot help you, Zelker. The Kravix are too powerful. If we fight them, they will destroy us too. I am sorry." One by one other species agreed. The Thorians said no. The Crystalline Collective said no. Even the mighty Draken warriors refused to help. The Zelker ambassador fell to his knees. Tears ran down his face. "Please," he begged. "Anyone. We need help now. My children are dying. My wife is dead. Please, someone help us." The council chamber became silent. No one spoke. No one moved. Everyone felt shame, but no one was brave enough to face the Kravix Empire. Then a voice came from the back of the chamber. It was quiet, but clear. "We will help." Everyone turned around. It was a human ambassador. Her name was Sarah Chun. Humans had joined the Galactic Council only 1 year ago. Most species barely knew anything about them. The Velner representative laughed. "Humans? You have been in space for only 200 years. Your species has 12 planets. The Kravix have thousands of warships. What can you possibly do?" Other council members started laughing too. Some whispered to each other, "Humans are so young. They do not understand galactic war. They will get themselves killed." But Sarah Chen did not laugh. She looked directly at the Zelker ambassador. Her face was serious. Her eyes were strong. "We will send what we can. Help is coming." The Zelker ambassador looked at her with hope. "Thank you," he whispered. "Thank you." Sarah Chen pressed a button on her communication device. "This is Ambassador Chen to Earth Command. Authorization code Alpha 79. We have permission to assist the Zelker species. Activate Protocol Defiance. Send the Dreadnought." The council chamber exploded with noise. Everyone was talking at once. What is a Dreadnought? Do humans even have military ships? This is madness. But Sarah Chun just smiled. She knew something the galaxy did not know. Humanity had been preparing for this moment for 50 years. And what they were about to send would change everything. What the Galactic Council did not know was that humanity had been waiting for this moment. And what they were about to send would change the galaxy forever. The galaxy laughed when humans offered to help. They were about to stop laughing. Sarah Chen's message traveled through space at the speed of light. It reached Earth in seconds. The message went directly to the United Human Space Navy headquarters. The building was hidden deep underground in the Rocky Mountains. Admiral Catherine Chin sat in her command center. She was Sarah's older sister. She had been waiting for this call for 5 years. When the message appeared on her screen, she smiled. "Finally," she said, "Lieutenant, get me a direct line to Dark Space Station 7. The young officer looked confused. "Admiral, I do not have that station in our records." "You will not find it in records, Lieutenant. It does not officially exist. Use emergency channel 993. The screen flickered. Then it showed a massive space station floating in the darkness between stars. The station was so far from Earth that no one knew it existed. It had been built in secret over 50 years. A man appeared on the screen. He wore a black military uniform. His name was Captain James Rodriguez. He was the best ship commander in human history. "Admiral Chun," he said, "I receive your activation code. Is it time?" "Yes, Captain," Admiral Chun replied. "The Zelker species is under attack by the Kravix Empire. The Galactic Council refuse to help. We are authorized to assist. Take the Defiance to the Zelker system. Show them what humanity can do." Captain Rodriguez nodded. "Understood, Admiral. We will not let you down." The screen went black. Captain Rodriguez turned to his crew. They were standing at attention in the command center. All of them had trained for this moment their entire lives. "Crew of the Defiance," he said, "our time has come. We are going to war. Power up all systems. Prepare for launch." The space station began to move. Massive doors opened in the side of the structure, and then it emerged, the UHSN Defiance. It was the largest warship ever built by humanity. The ship was 8 kilometers long. It was 2 kilometers wide. It looked like a massive sword floating in space. The hull was made of reinforced titanium mixed with materials found only on distant planets. The armor was 1 meter thick. It could survive direct hits from nuclear weapons. The ship had 6 fusion reactors. Each reactor could power a small city. Together they gave the Defiance unlimited energy for years. The weapons were beyond anything the galaxy had ever seen. 20 rail guns lined each side of the ship. Each rail gun could fire projectiles at 5% the speed of light. One shot could go through multiple ships. 40 plasma cannons were mounted on rotating turrets. They could fire in any direction. Each blast was hot enough to melt through any known armor. The ship carried 200 nuclear missiles. Each missile had enough power to destroy a small moon. But the most impressive feature was the shield system. Human scientists had discovered how to create energy barriers around ships. These shields could absorb incredible amounts of damage. No other species in the galaxy had this technology. Inside the ship, 15,000 soldiers prepared for battle. They wore advanced combat armor. They carried weapons that used magnetic acceleration. They were ready. Captain Rodriguez sat in the command chair. Around him, dozens of officers worked at their stations. The bridge looked like the inside of a computer. "Status report," he ordered. "All weapons online," said the weapons officer. "Rail guns charged. Plasma cannons ready. Missiles armed. Shields at maximum power," said the defense officer. "Energy reserves full. Engines ready for faster-than-light travel," said the navigator. Course plotted the Zelker system. Captain Rodriguez looked at the main screen. He could see the stars waiting for them. Somewhere out there, people were dying. Somewhere out there, an empire thought they were unstoppable. "All crew, this is the captain," he announced over the ship speakers. "We are humanity's first response to galactic aggression. We are going to show the galaxy that humans do not abandon those who need help. We are going to show the Kravix Empire that they made a terrible mistake. Prepare for jump." The fusion reactors increased power. The entire ship began to glow with blue light. Space itself began to bend around the Defiance. "Engaging faster than light drive in 3, 2, 1, said the navigator. "Jump." The Defiance vanished. It traveled through a dimension where normal physics did not apply. The journey to Zelker would take only 6 hours. The Kravix Empire had no idea what was coming. Back on Earth, Admiral Chen watched the tracking data. The Defiance was moving faster than any ship in the galaxy. She opened a communication channel to her sister Sarah. "Sarah, the Defiance is on its way. Tell the Zelker to hold on for 6 more hours. Tell them help is coming. And tell the Galactic Council to watch their sensors. They are about to see what real military power looks like." The Dreadnought was moving, but the Kravix had no idea what was coming. And when it arrived, the battle would be legendary. Humanity sent their most powerful weapon, but would one ship be enough against an entire empire? The Zelker homeworld was dying. Kravix warships surrounded the planet like a metal cage. 200 warships filled the space above the cities. Every few minutes they fired their weapons. Buildings turned into dust. Forests became fire. Oceans boiled. The Zelker people hid deep underground. They had been hiding for 4 days. Food was running low. Water was almost gone. Children were crying. Parents tried to stay hopeful, but everyone knew the end was coming. On the surface, the Krovik's army had already landed. Thousands of Kroviks, soldiers, walked through the burning cities. They were looking for survivors. When they found Zelker families, they killed them without mercy. High above the planet sat the Krovik's flagship. It was a massive ship called the Dark Talon. Inside the command center, Admiral Zrath watched the destruction with satisfaction. He was the leader of this attack force. He had conquered 15 planets before this one. Admiral Zrath was 3 meters tall. His skin was dark red and covered in scales. His eyes were pure black. He had 4 arms, and each arm held a weapon. The Krovik species loved war. They believed only the strong deserved to live. Status report, Zrath demanded. His voice sounded like metal scraping against metal. Sir, we have destroyed 80% of their cities, reported his second officer. Our ground forces have eliminated most surface survivors. The remaining Zelker are hiding underground. We are using bombs to collapse their tunnels. Zrath smiled. His teeth were like knives. Good. In 2 more days, this planet will be empty. Then we will take their resources. The Krovik's empire grows stronger. Suddenly an alarm sounded. Red lights flashed across the command center. Officers rushed to their stations. Sir, shouted the scanner officer, we have a new contact. One ship just appeared at the edge of the system. Zrath turned to the main screen. What species? The scanner officer looked confused. Unknown design, sir. The computer does not recognize it. The ship is massive, reading 8 kilometers in length. The other Krovik's officers started laughing. 8 kilometers? That is impossible. No species builds ships that large. Scan it again, Zrath ordered. There must be an error. The scanner officer worked frantically. Sir, there is no error. That ship is real. It is moving toward us. Current speed is 0.7 light speed. It will reach us in 20 minutes. Zrath stopped smiling. What species sent it? Draken? Thorian. Negative, sir. The energy signature is completely unknown. Wait, I am receiving an identification signal. The ship is transmitting its name and origin. Well, Zrath growled. What is it? The scanner officer looked at his screen in disbelief. Sir, the ship identifies as UHSN Defiance. Origin planet Earth. Species human. The entire command center went silent. Then everyone started talking at once. Humans? The species that just joined the council? They dare challenge us? Zrath hit his fist on the command chair. The metal bent under his strength. Humans? Those weak creatures with only 12 planets. They send 1 ship to fight 200 Krovik's warships. Their arrogance will be their death. He stood up and pointed at the main screen. All ships prepare for combat. 50 ships move to intercept that human vessel. Destroy it quickly. I won't watch them burn. 50 Krovik's warships broke formation. They moved toward the approaching Defiance. Each Krovik ship was 1 kilometer long. They were equipped with plasma cannons and missile launchers. Together they had destroyed entire fleets. On board the Defiance, Captain Rodriguez watched the Krovik ships approaching. His face showed no emotion. Around him, his officers monitored their stations calmly. Sir, 50 enemy ships incoming, reported the tactical officer. They will be in weapons range in 5 minutes. Scan their capabilities, Rodriguez ordered. Scanning complete, sir. Each ship has basic plasma weapons and kinetic missiles. Their armor is standard alloy. No energy shields detected. Assessment, they're using technology at least 200 years behind ours. Rodriguez allowed himself a small smile. They do not know what they are facing. Helm maintain current course. Do not slow down. Show them we are not afraid. Yes, sir, replied the helm officer, holding course and speed. The distance closed rapidly. On the Krovik's ships, the weapons officers prepared to fire. They had destroyed thousands of ships before. This would be no different. Admiral Zrath watched from his flagship. Fire when in range. I want that ship destroyed before it gets close to the planet. The 50 Krovik ships opened fire at once. Hundreds of plasma bolts shot through space. They glowed green and yellow. Dozens of missiles followed behind them. The weapons created a wall of death moving toward the Defiance. On the Defiance bridge, the defense officer called out, "Incoming fire, sir. Multiple plasma bolts and missiles. Impact in 10 seconds. Shields at full power," Rodriguez ordered calmly. "All crew brace for impact." The plasma bolts hit first. They struck the Defiance shields and exploded in brilliant flashes of light. The missiles followed. Each explosion created a small sun. The combined firepower was enough to destroy a moon, but when the light faded, the Defiance was still there. Not a single scratch marked its hull. The shields had absorbed everything. On the Kravix flagship, everyone stared in shock. Admiral Zrath could not believe what he was seeing. "Impossible," he whispered. "Nothing survives our weapons. Nothing." The scanner officer's hands were shaking. "Sir, that ship has some kind of energy barrier around it. Our weapons cannot penetrate it." Captain Rodriguez leaned forward in his command chair. They had their turn. "Now we show them what human weapons can do. Weapons officer, target the lead Kravix ship. Fire railgun number 1. "Yes, sir." "Targeting." "Locked." "Firing." The railgun charged with incredible energy. Then it fired. The projectile was a solid piece of tungsten the size of a car. It accelerated to 5% the speed of light in less than 1 second. The projectile crossed the distance in a heartbeat. It hit the lead Kravix ship directly in the center. The tungsten round went through the ship like it was made of paper. It did not slow down. It continued through the second ship behind it, then through a third ship. All 3 ships exploded at once. The explosions were so massive they could be seen from the planet below. Debris flew in every direction. Thousands of Kravix soldiers died instantly. The remaining 47 Kravix ships stopped moving. They just floated in space. Their crews could not process what they had just witnessed. 3 ships destroyed with 1 shot. Admiral Zrath stood frozen on his command bridge. His mouth was open. His 4 arms hung at his sides. For the first time in his life, he felt something he had never felt before. Fear. The Kravix thought they were the strongest. They were wrong. But Admiral Zrath was not ready to give up. He was about to make a deadly mistake. 3 Kravix ships destroyed in 1 shot. The galaxy was about to witness human warfare. Admiral Zrath stared at the screen. His mind could not accept what he saw. 3 of his best warships were gone. Just gone. Destroyed by a single shot from a species he had never heard of until today. His second officer approached carefully. "Admiral, what are your orders? Should we retreat?" Zrath turned to face him. His black eyes burned with rage. "Retreat? We are the Kravix Empire. We do not retreat from anyone. That was just 1 lucky shot. We still have 197 ships. They have 1. He activated the fleet communication system. His voice boomed across every Kravix ship. "All vessels, this is Admiral Zrath. That human ship just killed 3,000 of your brothers. Will you let them survive? Will you let them leave the system alive?" Across the fleet Kravix, warriors roared in anger. They beat their weapons against their armor. They wanted revenge. They wanted blood. All ships attacked the human vessel Zrath commanded. "Surround it. Overwhelm it. I do not care how strong their shields are. We will break them. We will tear that ship apart. For the Empire." For the Empire, 200 ships responded as one. The entire Kravix fleet turned toward the Defiance. They formed a massive wall of warships. Every weapon on every ship powered up. This would be the largest attack in Kravix military history. On the Defiance bridge, alarms sounded. The tactical officer looked worried. "Sir, all Kravix ships are converging on our position. They are preparing a full fleet assault." Captain Rodriguez remained calm. He had trained for situations like this. "How long until they are in firing range?" 2 minutes, sir." Rodriguez pressed a button on his chair. "All hands, this is the captain. We are about to face the full Kravix fleet. They think numbers will win this battle. They are wrong. Today we show them why humanity has survived every threat we have ever faced." Battle stations. Throughout the ship, 15,000 soldiers prepared. Gunners loaded weapons. Engineers monitored power systems. Medical teams prepared for casualties. Everyone knew their job. Everyone was ready. Sir, enemy fleet in range, called the tactical officer. They are firing. 200 Kravik ships unleashed everything they had. Thousands of plasma bolts filled space. Hundreds of missiles streaked toward the Defiance. The combined firepower could destroy a planet. The weapons struck the Defiance shields. Explosion after explosion covered the ship. The light was so bright it hurt to look at. The attack continued for 30 seconds without stopping. Shield status, Rodriguez demanded. The defense officer checked his readings. Shields holding at 85%, sir. No damage to the ship. Rodriguez nodded. Good. Now let them see what we can really do. Launch all fighter wings. Deep inside the Defiance, massive doors open along the hull. From inside the ship, hundreds of small craft emerged. They were human fighter ships. Each one was only 20 meters long, but each one was controlled by advanced artificial intelligence. 500 fighters away, sir, reported the flight officer. AI combat systems active. They are engaging the enemy. The fighters moved through space like sharks through water. They were incredibly fast. No Kravik's pilot could track them. The fighters split into groups and attacked the Kravik's fleet from every direction. Kravik ships tried to shoot them down, but the fighters dodged every shot. They moved in patterns that seemed impossible. They flew between Kravik's ships. They spun and twisted and never slowed down. Then the fighters began their attack. They targeted the weak points on Kravik's ships. Engine ports, weapon batteries, shield generators. Each fighter fired precision laser bursts. Small explosions bloomed across the Kravik's fleet. Sir, enemy ships are losing engine power, reported the tactical officer. Multiple vessels showing weapon failures. Their formation is breaking apart. Rodriguez watched the battle unfold on his screen. They are confused. They expected a simple fight. They got a swarm they cannot handle. Weapons officer began firing plasma cannons. Target clusters of enemy ships. Yes, sir. Acquiring targets. Firing. The Defiance had 40 plasma cannons. Each one rotated independently to find targets. The cannons fired streams of superheated plasma. Each stream was 10,000 degrees, hot enough to melt any known metal in seconds. The plasma streams hit their targets perfectly. Kravik's ships burned from the inside out. Their hulls glowed red, then white, then exploded. Each plasma cannon destroyed 2 or 3 ships before moving to the next target. Admiral Wrath watched his fleet die. Ships exploded around his flagship. The communications channels were filled with screams. Captains begged for help. Soldiers called for their families as their ships broke apart. Sir, we have lost 50 ships, his second officer reported. His voice shook with fear. 70 more are damaged. Our weapons are not working. That ship is too strong. Zrath grabbed the officer by the throat. I do not want excuses. I want that ship destroyed. Order all remaining ships to focus fire on one point of their shields. Break through. 100 Kravik ships moved closer to the Defiance. They concentrated all their weapons on one small section of the human shields. For a moment it seemed to work. The shields flickered. Energy readings dropped. On the Defiance bridge, the defense officer called out, Sir, shields down to 70% on the forward section. They found our weak point. Rodriguez considered his options. The Kraviks were learning. That made them dangerous. Redirect power from rear shields to forward section. Then rotate the ship. Give them a fresh shield to shoot at. Yes, sir. The Defiance slowly spun in space. The weakened shield section moved away from the Kravik's attack. Fresh shields took their place. The Kravik's weapons hit full-strength shields again. Sir, shields restored to 90%, reported the defense officer. The rotation worked. Good, Rodriguez said. Now end this. Weapons officer prepare nuclear missiles. Target the center of their fleet. Fire pattern Delta 7. The weapons officer entered commands rapidly. Nuclear missiles armed, sir. Targets locked. Firing. From the sides of the Defiance, 50 nuclear missiles launched. They spread out in a wide pattern. Each missile had enough explosive power to level a city. Together they carried enough destruction to end nations. The missiles flew into the heart of the Kravik's fleet. The Kraviks tried to shoot them down. They destroyed 5 missiles, 10 missiles, 20 missiles, but 30 missiles got through. The nuclear explosions turned space into a sea of fire. Multiple Kravik ships vanished in each blast. The explosions were so powerful, they created electromagnetic pulses. These pulses shut down Kravik systems. Ships went dark. Life support failed. Engines died. When the light faded, 100 Kravik ships were gone. Just debris remained. Pieces of metal and bodies floating in the darkness. Only 50 Kravik ships survived. They were damaged. They were scared. And they were running. Admiral Zrath screamed orders at his crew. Retreat. All ships retreat. Jump to faster than light speed. Get us out of here. The 50 surviving ships turned away from the Defiance. Their engines powered up. They prepared to escape into the darkness of space. Captain Rodriguez saw them fleeing. Tactical officer locked missiles on all escaping ships. Do not let any of them leave the system. Yes, sir. Targets locked. Firing missiles. 100 more nuclear missiles launched from the Defiance. They spread across space. Each missile tracked a specific target. The missiles were faster than the Kravik ships. There was no escape. The missiles caught the fleeing ships one by one. Each explosion marked the death of another Kravik's warship. The battle lasted only 45 minutes from start to finish. 200 Kravik ships entered the battle. 0 survived. Total Kravik's casualties were over 100,000 soldiers. Every single warrior died. The pride of the Kravik's military was destroyed. Human casualties were 23 fighter craft lost when they got too close to nuclear explosions. 847 soldiers died, but the Defiance survived without a scratch. Below on the Zelker planet, the survivors watched through their sensors. They saw the entire battle. They could not believe it. One human ship destroyed an entire Kravik's fleet. The underground shelters erupted in celebration. Zelker families hugged each other. Children laughed for the first time in days. Parents cried tears of joy. They were saved. Humanity had saved them. Captain Rodriguez opened a communication channel to the planet. This is Captain James Rodriguez of the United Human Space Navy ship Defiance. The Kravik's fleet has been eliminated. You are safe now. We will remain in orbit until you are ready. Humanity keeps its promises. The Zelker leader responded immediately. His voice was filled with emotion. Captain Rodriguez, we have no words to thank you. You saved our entire species. We will never forget this. Never. Rodriguez smiled. No thanks needed. We did what was right. That is enough. He closed the channel and looked at his crew. They were exhausted, but proud. Well done, everyone. Send our battle report to Earth Command. Let them know the mission was successful. But across the galaxy, the news was already spreading. Sensors had recorded the battle. Other species saw what happened. The Galactic Council received reports from their observers. Humanity had just announced itself to the galaxy, and the announcement was written in the wreckage of 200 warships. The battle was over. But news traveled fast in the galaxy, and the Kravik's empire was about to learn who they had challenged. Humanity destroyed 200 warships without losing a single soldier. The Kravik's emperor was not happy. The Kravik's home world was a planet of darkness and fire. Black mountains covered the surface. Rivers of lava flowed between massive fortresses. This was a world built for war. This was the heart of the Kravik's empire. Deep inside the largest fortress sat Emperor Draxus. He was the most powerful Kravik who had ever lived. He was 4 meters tall. His body was covered in black armor that had never been removed. His eyes glowed red in the darkness. He had ruled the empire for 60 years. In that time, he had conquered 100 planets. Emperor Draxus sat on his throne made from the bones of defeated enemies. Around him stood his 5 generals. Each general commanded 1,000 warships. Together they controlled the entire Kravik's military. A messenger ran into the throne room. He was breathing hard. His face showed fear. Emperor, I bring urgent news from the Zelker system. Draxus did not move. His voice was deep and cold. Speak. The messenger knelt before the throne. My Emperor Admiral Zratha's fleet has been destroyed. All 200 ships are gone. Every soldier is dead. The Zelker planet is no longer under our control. For a long moment, no one spoke. The generals looked at each other in shock. The destruction of an entire fleet was impossible. It had never happened in Kravik's history. Emperor Draxus slowly stood from his throne. The ground shook under his weight. 200 warships destroyed? Who did this? Was it the Draken? The Thorians? Did the entire Galactic Council unite against us? The messenger's voice trembled. No, my emperor, it was one ship, one species. They call themselves humans. Humans? Draxus roared. The sound echoed through the fortress. I have never heard of humans. What empire do they command? How many planets do they control? One of the generals stepped forward. His name was Varkith. He was the Empire's chief military strategist. My emperor, I have information on this species. The humans joined the Galactic Council 1 year ago. They are a very young species. They have been in space for only 200 years. They control only 12 planets. Draxus grabbed Varkith by the throat and lifted him off the ground. And you tell me this weak species destroyed 200 of our best warships with one ship? Varkith struggled to breathe. Yes, my emperor. Our sensors recorded the battle. The human ship had weapons and shields we have never seen before. It destroyed our fleet in less than 1 hour. I have the battle data here. Draxus threw Varkith across the room. The general crashed into a wall, but stood up quickly. Draxus walked to a large screen. Show me. The screen activated. It showed the battle from beginning to end. Draxus watched the Defiance destroy his ships one after another. He saw the railguns pierce through multiple vessels. He saw the nuclear missiles turn space into fire. He saw his proud warriors die without landing a single hit on the human ship. When the recording ended, Draxus stood silent. His generals waited nervously. They had never seen their emperor like this. He was always confident, always certain of victory. But now doubt crossed his face. This cannot be, Draxus finally said. One ship cannot have this much power. There must be an explanation. Perhaps Admiral Wrath was a fool. Perhaps his ships were old and weak. General Varkith shook his head. My emperor, those were our newest warships. Admiral Wrath was one of our best commanders. He did everything correctly. The humans are simply more advanced than us. Their technology is superior. Draxus turned to face his generals. His red eyes burned with hatred. I did not accept this. The Kravik's empire bows to no one. If the humans think they can challenge us, they are wrong. We will show them the true power of the empire. He pointed at each general. Gather the Imperial Armada. I want 1,000 ships ready for battle. Our most powerful vessels. Our best crews. We will not send a small fleet this time. We will send an army. Where will we attack, my emperor? Asked another general. Draxus smiled. His teeth were like daggers. We attack their homeworld. We attack Earth. We will burn their planet to ash. We will kill every human man, woman, and child. When we are finished, the galaxy will remember what happens to those who defy the Kravik's empire. The generals bowed. Yes, my emperor. We will prepare immediately. And I will lead this attack myself, Draxus continued. I will personally destroy their world. I will show the galaxy that the Kravik's empire is still the most powerful force in existence. The generals left to carry out their orders. Within hours, the Kravik's military began its largest mobilization in history. 1,000 warships gathered at the Empire homeworld. Each ship was twice the size of the vessels that attacked Zelker. Each ship carried 3,000 soldiers. The total force was 3 million warriors. The Imperial Armada formed in space above the Kravik's planet. It was the most terrifying sight in the galaxy. A wall of warships stretching across the darkness. Enough firepower to destroy entire solar systems. Emperor Draxus boarded his personal flagship. It was called the Death of Stars. It was the largest ship in the Kravik's fleet, 5 kilometers long and armed with weapons that had destroyed moons. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, the Galactic Council held an emergency meeting. Every species was present. The council chamber was filled with worried voices. The Velner representative stood at the center. We have confirmed the reports. The human ship Defiance destroyed the entire Kravix fleet at Zelker. 200 warships eliminated with 0 human losses. We have never seen military power like this. The Thorian ambassador spoke next. This changes everything. If humans can defeat the Kravix so easily, they're now the strongest military force in the galaxy, we should immediately form an alliance with them. But the Draken representative disagreed. Or they're the most dangerous species we have ever encountered. What if they decide to conquer us next? What if they become worse than the Kravix? Arguments broke out across the chamber. Some species wanted to ally with humanity. Others feared human power. Everyone was talking at once. Sarah Chun, the human ambassador, listened quietly. Then she stood up. The chamber gradually became silent. I understand your concerns, Sarah said. But humanity did not destroy the Kravix fleet for power or conquest. We did it because it was right. The Zelker asked for help. Everyone in this council refused. Only humanity answered. The Velner representative nodded slowly. You speak the truth, Ambassador Chun. Your species showed courage when we showed only fear. But now the Kravix Empire will seek revenge. They will come for Earth. 1,000 ships or more. Can one ship defeat an entire empire? Sarah smiled. It was not a worried smile. It was confident. We appreciate your concern, but humanity is prepared. At that moment, a message came through on Sarah's communication device. She read it, and her smile grew wider. In fact, I just received word from Earth. The Kravix Imperial Armada has been detected moving toward our solar system. They will arrive in 3 days. Panic spread through the council chamber. Species representatives began shouting, 3 days? 1,000 ships? Earth will be destroyed. But Sarah raised her hand for silence. The Kravix think they are bringing war to humanity, but they do not understand something very important about humans. We have been preparing for war since we first looked at the stars. The Defiance is not our only ship. It is not even our strongest ship. She pressed a button. A hologram appeared showing Earth's solar system. Around Earth, dozens of large objects appeared on the display. When we built the Defiance, we did not stop there, Sarah explained. We built 12 more ships of the same class, plus 50 battlecruisers, plus 200 destroyer vessels, plus orbital defense platforms around Earth that could destroy entire fleets. The council chamber fell completely silent. Every species representative stared at the hologram in disbelief. The Draken ambassador stood up slowly. You built all of this in secret? While you were telling us you were a peaceful species. Sarah looked at him directly. We are a peaceful species, but we are not a weak species. Humans learned long ago that peace must be protected by strength. We hoped we would never need these ships, but we built them anyway, because hope is not a strategy. On Earth, Admiral Catherine Chun received the same intelligence report. The Kravix were coming. 1,000 ships, led by their emperor himself. She stood in the command center, surrounded by her officers. They were reviewing battle plans, calculating trajectories, preparing defenses. A young lieutenant approached her nervously. Admiral, the Kravix fleet is massive. Even with all our ships can we win. Admiral Chun turned to face her crew. The Kravix think they are bringing overwhelming force. They think 1,000 ships against one planet will be an easy victory. They are about to learn why you should never underestimate humanity. She pressed a button on the main display. It showed the deployment of Earth's entire military fleet. We have 12 Dreadnought-class ships. Each one is as powerful as a Defiance. We have 50 battlecruisers equipped with weapons the Kravix have never seen. We have 200 destroyers that can move faster than any ship in their fleet. And we have orbital platforms with enough firepower to destroy a moon. She looked at each officer. But our greatest weapon is not our ships or our guns. Our greatest weapon is that we fight for our home. The Kravix fight for conquest. We fight for survival. And throughout human history, we have proven one thing. When you threaten our home, we do not run. We do not surrender. We fight with everything we have. The officers stood straighter. Their fear turned to determination. Send a message to all fleet commanders. Admiral Chen ordered. The Kravix Empire is coming to Earth. We will meet them here. We will fight them here. And we will show the galaxy that humanity is not prey. We are predators. And our home is not for sale. Across Earth's military bases, soldiers prepare for battle. Ships powered up. Weapons loaded. Defenses activated. 3 billion humans watched the sky and waited. 3 days until the Kroviks arrived. 3 days until the largest space battle in galactic history. 3 days until humanity would either prove itself or die trying. The Kroviks Empire was bringing war to Earth, but humanity was ready. And what happened next would shake the entire galaxy to its core. 1,000 Kroviks warships were heading to Earth. The galaxy watched. Was this the end of humanity or the beginning of a legend? 3 days passed quickly. On Earth, every human knew what was coming. Cities went quiet. People stayed with their families. Children looked up at the sky, wondering if they would see tomorrow. But there was no panic. Humans had faced extinction before. They knew how to be brave. In space beyond Earth's moon, the defense fleet assembled. 12 massive Dreadnought-class ships formed a wall. Each one was 8 kilometers of weapons and armor. Behind them, 50 battle cruisers waited. Behind those, 200 destroyer ships spread across space. And closest to Earth, massive orbital platforms floated. Each platform was the size of a city. Admiral Catherine Chin stood on the bridge of her flagship. It was called the UHSN Valor. She looked at the tactical display. Her entire fleet was ready. 15,000 ships total when counting fighters. Against the Kroviks' 1,000 warships, it seemed like good odds. But she knew the Kroviks were experienced warriors. This would not be easy. Admiral, we have incoming contact, called a sensor officer. Multiple ships dropping out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of our solar system. How many? Chin asked, counting now. 200, 400, 600. Admiral, it is the entire Kroviks Imperial Armada. 1,000 ships confirmed. On the main screen, the Kroviks fleet appeared. It looked like a dark cloud blocking out the stars. 1,000 warships, all painted in black and red. Each ship bristled with weapons. At the center of the formation was the largest ship, the Death of Stars, Emperor Draxus' flagship. Inside the Death of Stars, Emperor Draxus sat on his command throne. He looked at Earth through the main view screen. It was a beautiful blue planet, full of life, full of cities. He was going to enjoy destroying it. Target their home world. He ordered, prepare all weapons. We will fire everything at once. I want to watch their planet burn. But General Varkas stepped forward. My Emperor, our sensors show multiple contact around Earth. They have many ships, more than we expected. Draxus laughed. I see them. A few dozen ships defending their planet. Pathetic. We have 1,000 warships. Their fleet will die quickly. Then nothing will stop us from destroying Earth. He activated the fleet communication channel. Warriors of the Kroviks Empire. Today we destroy the species that dare to challenge us. Today we show the galaxy that the Kroviks bow no one. Charge weapons. Prepare to attack. Across the Kroviks fleet, weapons powered up. Plasma cannons glowed. Missile tubes opened. 3 million Kroviks soldiers prepared for battle. They were confident. They had never lost a war. Today would be no different. Admiral Chin watched the Kroviks fleet move toward Earth. They were still far away, but closing fast. She opened a communication channel that broadcast to the entire Kroviks fleet. Emperor Draxus, this is Admiral Catherine Chin of the United Human Space Navy. You have entered our solar system with hostile intent. You are threatening our home world. I am giving you one chance. Turn your fleet around and leave. If you continue your approach, we will defend our planet with overwhelming force. Emperor Draxus heard the message. He laughed so hard the sound echoed through his ship. Overwhelming force? You have a few dozen ships. We have 1,000. You're either very brave or very stupid. Admiral Chin's voice remained calm. You came to the wrong neighborhood. She closed the communication channel. Then she pressed a button on her command chair. All ships, this is Admiral Chin. Execute battle plan Omega. Show them what we really have. Around Earth, the space itself seemed to shimmer. Then ships began appearing. They had been hiding in stealth mode, invisible to sensors, waiting for this moment. 12 Dreadnought ships became visible. Then 50 battle cruisers appear behind them. Then 200 destroyer ships materialize across the battlefield. The orbital platforms activated. Their weapons ports open, revealing massive cannons. But that was not all. From behind Earth's moon came more ships. A second fleet that had been waiting in reserve. Another 6 dreadnoughts. Another 30 battle cruisers. Another 100 destroyers. On the Death of Stars, the censor officer stared at his screen in horror. Emperor, the humans have more ships. Many more ships. I count 18 Dreadnought-class vessels, 80 battle cruisers, 300 destroyers, plus orbital defenses. Total enemy ship count is over 400 capital ships, plus 1,000 fighters. Emperor Draxus stood from his throne. For the first time, doubt crossed his face. That is impossible. How did they hide so many ships? Where did they come from? General Varka checked the sensor data himself. My Emperor, they were using some kind of stealth technology. Our sensors could not detect them, but now they are all visible. Their fleet is much larger than we thought, and those dreadnought ships. Each one is as powerful as the ship that destroyed Admiral's Wrath fleet. Draxus clenched his 4 fists. It does not matter. We still have 1,000 ships. We still have 3 million soldiers. We are Kraviks. We do not retreat. He pointed at the human fleet. All ships forward. Attack formation Delta. Concentrate fire on their largest vessels. We will break through their lines and reach Earth. Today, humanity dies. The Kraviks fleet surged forward. 1,000 warships moving as one massive wave. They fired their weapons while still at long range. Thousands of plasma bolts and missiles filled space with light. Admiral Chen watched the incoming fire calmly. All ships activate shields. Weapons free. Engage at will. The human fleet shields lit up across the battlefield. The Kraviks' weapons struck the shields and exploded harmlessly. Not a single human ship took damage. Then the human fleet returned fire. The 18 dreadnoughts fired their rail guns simultaneously. 36 projectiles traveling at 5% the speed of light. Each shot had the force of a nuclear weapon. The rounds hit the front line of Kravik ships and went straight through them. One rail gun shot destroyed 3 or 4 Kravik's vessels before its energy finally stopped. 72 Kravik ships exploded in the first 5 seconds of battle. The battle cruisers fired next. They used advanced plasma weapons that burned hotter than any star. The plasma streams hit Kravik ships and melted them from the inside. Hulls glowed white hot before exploding. The destroyer ships launched missiles. Each missile was AI-controlled and could dodge defensive fire. Thousands of missiles swarmed through the Kravik's fleet. They targeted engines and weapon systems. Explosions bloomed across hundreds of ships. From Earth's orbital platforms, massive cannons fired. These were electromagnetic accelerators. They launched projectiles the size of buildings. When these rounds hit Kravik ships, the vessels simply ceased to exist. They were torn apart at the molecular level. The Kravik's fleet tried to fight back. They fired everything they had. But human shields absorbed the damage, and human weapons kept destroying ships at an incredible rate. Emperor Draxus watched his fleet die. In the first 10 minutes, he lost 100 ships. In 20 minutes, 200 ships were gone. The battle was turning into a massacre. "This cannot be happening," he shouted. "We are the Kravik's empire. We have conquered 100 worlds. How can we lose to humans?" General Varkith grabbed his emperor arm. "My emperor, we must retreat. We cannot win this battle. Their technology is too advanced. If we stay here, we will all die." Draxus pushed him away. "Retreat? Never. All ships push forward. Ram their vessels, if you must. We will reach Earth, even if we must use our own bodies as weapons." But his warriors were not listening anymore. They could see the truth. The human fleet was superior in every way. Better shields, better weapons, better strategy. Kravik's ships were exploding every few seconds. The humans had lost only a handful of fighters. Some Kravik's captains began turning their ships around. They tried to escape, but the human destroyers were faster. They chased down the fleeing ships and destroyed them with precision missile strikes. Admiral Chen opened a channel to her fleet commanders. "Do not let any of them escape. The galaxy needs to see what happens when you threaten Earth. Show no mercy. The human fleet spread out across the battlefield. They formed a net that captured the Kravix fleet. Every direction the Kravix turned, there were human ships waiting. The orbital platforms fired continuously. The Dreadnought's rail guns never stopped. The battle cruiser's plasma cannons burned through ship after ship. Emperor Drax's flagship, the Death of Stars, took a direct hit from 3 railgun rounds. The shots penetrated the heavy armor. Explosions ripped through the ship interior. Thousands of Kravix soldiers died instantly. Draxus was thrown from his throne. Alarms screamed throughout the ship. Fires burned in every corridor. His generals lay dead around him. Only General Varkith still lived. "Emperor, we must abandon ship," Varkith shouted over the noise. "We have lost. The battle is over." Draxus looked around at his destroyed flagship. He could not believe it. The pride of the Kravix Empire, reduced to a burning wreck. How had it come to this? Another explosion rocked the ship. The main reactor was failing. They had maybe 5 minutes before the entire vessel exploded. "Get to the escape pods," Draxus finally said. His voice was quiet. "Defeated. Save who you can." They ran through burning corridors. Bodies of dead soldiers lined the floors. Finally, they reached the escape pod bay. A dozen pods remained. Draxus and Varkith climbed into one pod. It launched into space just as the Death of Stars exploded behind them. The battle lasted exactly 2 hours. When it ended, the results were clear. 1,000 Kravix warships had entered the battle. 0 survived. Every single ship was destroyed. 3 million Kravix soldiers died in space around Earth. The largest military fleet in Kravix history was completely eliminated. Human casualties were minimal. 23 destroyers lost. 47 battle cruisers damaged. 847 soldiers killed. But not a single dreadnought was destroyed. And Earth remained completely untouched. Admiral Chen stood on her bridge and looked at the debris field. Pieces of Kravix ships floated everywhere. Bodies drifted in the darkness. It was a graveyard. "Scan for survivors," she ordered. "Any Kravix in escape pods are to be captured. No executions. We are not barbarians." Her crew found 37 escape pods. Inside were the last survivors of the Imperial Armada. One of those pods contained Emperor Draxus himself. When Draxus was brought aboard the Valor, he was placed in restraints. He was injured. His armor was cracked. His pride was shattered. Admiral Chen came to see him personally. "Emperor Draxus," she said, "you came to destroy humanity. You failed. Your empire is broken. Your fleet is destroyed. Your soldiers are dead. What do you have to say?" Draxus looked at her with his red eyes. "How? How did you defeat us? We were the strongest empire in the galaxy." Chen smiled slightly. "You were strong, but you made a mistake. You thought strength came from conquest, from fear, from killing the weak. But true strength comes from protecting those who cannot protect themselves. That is why we saved the Zelker. That is why we built this fleet. Not to conquer, but to defend." She turned to leave. "You will stand trial for your war crimes. The Galactic Council will decide your fate, but your empire is finished. The Kravix will never threaten anyone again." Across the galaxy, species watched the battle through their sensors. They saw humanity destroy the most feared military force in history. The Galactic Council held an emergency session. When the session began, every species representative stood up. They faced the human ambassador, Sarah Chun, and then they bowed. The Velner representative spoke first. "Ambassador Chun, we were wrong about humanity. We thought you were weak because you were young, but you are not weak. You are the strongest species we have ever known, not because of your weapons, but because of your courage." The Thorian ambassador agreed. "You saved the Zelker when no one else would. You face an entire empire to protect the innocent. You have earned our respect, our trust, our friendship." One by one, every species in the council offered their support. They asked humanity to help lead the galaxy, to help protect the weak, to help maintain peace. Sarah Chun listened to them all. Then she spoke. "Humanity did not fight for power or glory. We fought because it was the right thing to do, and we will continue to do what is right. We accept your offer to help lead the council, but we will not rule over you. We will stand beside you, as equals, as friends." The council chamber erupted in applause. For the first time in galactic history, all species agreed on something. Humanity would help guide the galaxy toward a better future. On Earth, people celebrated in the streets. They had faced the greatest military threat in history and won. Children played without fear. Families hugged each other. The planet was safe. Admiral Chin stood on the observation deck of the Valor. She looked out at the stars. Her sister Sarah joined her. "We did it," Sarah said. "We saved Earth. We saved the galaxy." Catherine nodded. "But this is just the beginning. Now the real work starts. Maintaining peace is harder than winning wars. Do you think we are ready?" Sarah asked. Catherine smiled. "We are human. We have survived ice ages, plagues, world wars, extinction events. We have always found a way. We will find a way now." Far across the galaxy in deep space, something ancient detected the battle. It had been sleeping for millions of years. But the energy signatures from Earth's weapons woke it up. It analyzed the data, studied the humans, calculated their potential. This ancient intelligence was impressed. Humanity had shown courage, intelligence, power, all the qualities it had been searching for. It began moving toward human space. Slowly, carefully. It would take years to arrive. But when it did, it would test humanity in ways they could not imagine. Because somewhere in deep space something was watching, and it was very interested in these new warriors called humans. Humanity had proven itself. The galaxy would never underestimate them again. Earth became the most respected military power in known space. Other species asked for human protection. Human ships patrolled trade routes. Human soldiers trained alien armies. The Kravix Empire surrendered completely. Their worlds were placed under galactic council supervision. The Zelker species held a massive celebration. They built a monument to humanity on their planet. Every year, they honored the day the Defiance arrived to save them. Captain Rodriguez and the crew of the Defiance returned to Earth as heroes. Parades were held in every major city. But Rodriguez refused to take credit. "We only did our duty," he said. "Any human would have done the same." Admiral Catherine Chen was promoted to Supreme Commander of all human military forces. She began working with other species to create a united galactic defense force. Peace through strength, protection through power. And in a secret research facility on Earth, scientists studied the captured Kravix technology. They learned from it, improved it, made it better. Because humans never stopped advancing, never stopped preparing, never stopped growing stronger. The galaxy had learned an important lesson. Humanity was young, but youth did not mean weakness. It meant potential. And human potential was limitless. As Admiral Chin once said, "We are not the oldest species. We are not the wisest species. But we might be the bravest species. And sometimes courage is enough." The age of human expansion had begun. The galaxy would never be the same again.